Welcome to the 5 on 5. We are pleased to be joined today by Guy Tower, regional economist. Guy, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
Regional economist, what does that mean? What do you do?
Well, I work for the Oregon Employment Department, but I'm the regional labor economist for Jackson and Josephine County. What that means is I track economic, demographic, and labor market information for the two-county area, and also cover some statewide topics too. Once in a while, I'll spread my wings and cover some Oregon-wide areas of analysis too. But mostly I focus on the Rogue Valley economy, focusing mostly on employment, but I do get to touch on a lot of other areas as well because there aren't a lot of economists working in the area. So I get asked a lot of questions about just population and housing and inflation and just a wide variety of other economic subjects other than just employment.
And where does all the data that you get come from?
Well, we use a wide variety of sources. So a lot of our data is compiled through the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So a lot of our employment numbers are compiled on what we call a kind of a federal state cooperative program. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics sends a lot of the survey forms out. We help with some of the analysis and we do report writing, help them. They do some of the estimates and we revise the estimates based on more complete employer data. We use Census Bureau data looking at population trends and demographic trends, some housing cost data. There's data out there on self-employment that comes from the Census Bureau as well. They do what's called a non-employer data series. So that's where some of our self-employed data comes from that we use to augment our other surveys. So it's really a wide variety of other sources. Bureau of Economic Analysis has a lot of data, and we also are kind of a partner with the Portland State University's Population Research Center. So we're one of the census data affiliates, so we work in concert with them, helping to look and distribute some of their estimates and projections and forecasts. We help get that information out to people.
You get all that data, then sometimes we give you a call and we say, what does this all mean? How are we doing here in Southern Oregon?
Well, right now we're growing a bit faster than the statewide. So both in Jackson and Josephine County, over the year job growth trends are about double what the state is doing. So what you have to remember too is when we came out of this Great Recession, it was really Portland that helped bring Oregon out of the Great Recession. So early in the recovery, about 90% of the job growth was just in the Portland area. It took longer for those strength in job growth to really reach Southern Oregon. We got hit pretty hard. It took longer for us to climb out of that hole. And we're back. We're really back above pre-recession level of employment here in both Jackson and Josephine County. It just took longer for us to get here. So well, we can look at the past 12 months and go, well, that's great. We're above where we were a year ago and above that pre-recession level. It just took longer for us to get here. So recently in the most over the past 12 months, pretty strong. So about 3.5% job growth in Josephine County, about 2.7% non-farm payroll employment increase in Jackson County. That's about double the statewide trend. So some industries are doing better than others, and construction is certainly one that's been fast growing over the past year. In both counties, some of the fastest growth has been in the construction sector. However, because we got hit so hard during that downturn, we've still only recovered about 2/3 of the jobs that we lost. So we're not even back to where we were back in 2007 in terms of our overall construction employment and residential building permit trends. So we're on the upturn, but really still not back to that level that we were in 2006, 2007.
Okay.
For the construction sector. Other sectors are doing pretty well. Leisure and hospitality, manufacturing, of course, healthcare and social assistance, professional business services, all those. We've really had broad-based job growth in the Rogue Valley over the past year and really over the past few years as well.
And before we go, let's just talk about the smoke. It seems to have come earlier this year. We know that it had some impacts last year. Is it too early to tell what it's going to mean for the industry this go-around?
Well, certainly the sector that really gets impacted the most is the leisure and hospitality sector. Those are the folks that depend on that summer business to really carry them through the slower times of the rest of the year. And so it is going to be a harder hit, I think, in the Rogue Valley this year. Last year, estimates from Dean Runyon Associates and the Oregon Tourism Commission just put out a study that there were was about a $2.8 million loss in revenue because of the smoke and wildfires last year. And with the season starting this year, I can only presume that it's going to be worse this year. They estimated about $1 million dollars in earnings lost, 2.8 million in spending decrease, and this year just likely to be worse with performances at Shakespeare already being canceled, and every day is kind of up in the air, pardon the pun,
right.
depending on how the smoke's going to be, whether they'll be able to have those outdoor performances. And that affects people's plans too, because when they see that we're already having this level of smoke and wildfires, and it's not even August yet, that can affect people's planning and where they decide to have those vacations. So unless something's set in stone, businesses may suffer a little bit more this year.
We'll certainly hope that things turn around. Guy Tower, regional economist, thanks so much for being here with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.